and up and at 'em and enjoying the day so far. So today, some stuff has come up for me recently, and some of it's been around some of these videos that I do, and some of the, I guess, ideas or advice I share. Um, and one thing that's come up for me is a lot of this stuff is easier said than done. And so I come on here and I say, try this, try that, and sometimes maybe I don't fully acknowledge two things. One, um, it's not always easy. It's a process. We fail, we try, we fail, we learn, we grow, but it's a matter of sticking with it and continuing on and pushing forward and learning from each time we sort of slip and fall. And then the other part is that this is all part of a process for me as well. I'm certainly not coming on here to preach or to say that I'm perfect in any way, because I'm not, and I know that I'm not. Although I think I've gotten better in recent times at embracing the moments of perfection that I experience and that I display every now and then. So that's a good feeling too, when you have those moments of perfection and you can actually just kind of bask in it for a few minutes and not constantly have to tear yourself down from it. I know that's not everybody, but that's certainly been me over the better part of my life. When I've had those moments, some sort of fear kicks in and I start to immediately tear it down, which is why I tend to have a real difficult time even with compliments, which some of you have experienced with me firsthand. So that was sort of the lead in here. Was this is all a learning process for all of us, and we're all at different parts of that process, and we're all on our path to learning and betterment and improving our own lives, and hopefully having a positive impact on the lives around us. And so just want to recognize that, and wherever you're at on your path, give yourself a break, give yourself a chance to take a pause and recognize how far you've come and where you're at today, and if you gotta take a load off and sit down and just bask in what you've achieved so far, then do that. And if you're still seeing the climb ahead as a challenge, and you need to take a little break before continuing on and catch your breath, and do that too. That's okay. I've learned just recently that it's okay to lay in bed all day sometimes, and that's sometimes a needed thing, and you got to give yourself that time. Something sort of in conjunction with all of this is, I heard it a long time ago. It never really sunk in. It never really resonated. But I don't know who even said it to me at one point or another. But they said you can be right or you can be happy. I don't think it's as black and white as that. But I do think I see it so much in myself now, and I see it a lot now. I'm able to sort of spot it now. Now that I've been able to see it in myself, I can spot it a little bit more prevalently in others, and obviously online social media is just rampant with people needing to be right, and trust me, I'm fully aware of my own needs on that over the years, and how much I've needed to dig in my heels just to be right. And in order to do that, oftentimes it wasn't even so much about being able to prove the righteousness of me and how right I was. All I needed to do was tear someone else down and prove how wrong they were, and in some cases point out how stupid they were. And so I would revert to spotting hypocrisies. I would revert to inconsistencies. I would revert to making logical arguments and find the fallacy in what they're saying. And we hear this all the time, the logical fallacy and the logical fallacy. Those are all things great to be aware of for the self, but when we start pointing out all of that in others, we get really annoying really quick. And so to all of those who I've annoyed or even hurt through my own need to be right, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Something very recently in my life came up to sort of turn that around and understand, and I had to take a real solid look at myself when I was feeling pretty damn righteous about the situation I was in. And I had to consider not even so much what if I'm not right. It started out actually with the thought of, what if they're not wrong? And I invite all of you today, especially those of you who are, I see this a lot from my own experience in myself. I see this a lot in political discussions, and we've really, I think as a society, we've really started to polarize incredibly to our own detriment, because we're so insistent on needing to be right, and on the other side needing to be wrong. You have to be wrong, to a point that the other side can do something that otherwise would be perfectly right, but just because it's from them, it's wrong, and we look for why it's wrong. And I think it's hurting us. I know I've hurt myself with it. I know I've hurt people who I'm close with, people who I love and I care about with it. And I think starting with the question, what if they're not wrong? There's the seek to understand before being understood. Is such a simple and prophetic lesson, and it teaches us so much, and yet, and I've always been willing to spout that off, but very seldom have I been willing to direct it inward. So it's an old lesson. It's not from me. It's certainly not original, but seek to understand before being understood. The other one, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them proportionately. Maybe the other side's not wrong. Maybe I'm not right. Maybe it's not so black and white. I didn't even mean for that to happen, but anyways, I'd invite you today, give yourself a break. Enjoy the distance you've come so far. It's a work in progress, and know that I am too, and I'm still figuring this out. And if you're trying to figure it out and you're not sure what to do with it, give me a call, give me a text, shoot me an email. I'd love to even just be a sounding board for you, and see if we can help each other figure out this wonderful, amazing puzzle called life. And maybe take a moment today to really ask yourself, what if the conflict that I'm in, whatever that is, what if they're not wrong? What if I'm not necessarily right? What if there's another angle to this that we can approach it and find a common ground? And maybe that might involve a really difficult decision of swallowing some pride. And what I've learned recently is swallowing pride doesn't necessarily taste so bad. And the benefits from it can be enormous. So thank you for listening. Great to be back and sharing with you and enjoying growing and learning with you. Really appreciate it. Again, if you like the video, if you find some value in it, click like, click share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's share some love. And as always, I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.